Another week, another Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low rumor for 2025. In order to pick up your sneaker win from the sneaker store, you need to adhere to a dress code. More Jordans are showing up to retailers featuring mold, and people are actually digging the look. We've also got some streetwear beef updates between Cortez and Palace, and plenty more sneaker news stories in this week's sneaker wrap. We're going to start things off by recapping this week's biggest sneaker releases, and to be honest, it was a pretty average type week, really. We had the 86 Cosmic Clays, the Air Max 1s, which have sold out in the biggest sizes on the Nike Sneakers app. Also had a draw for the Kobe 5 X-Rays, which were rumored to be something around 50k in number. Also had the Chris Brown Nightcrawler slides. For some reason, that name Nightcrawler just fits Chris Brown a little bit too perfectly. It was a pretty big week for the more styly, I want to say, fashion MF type sneakerhead out there. We had the Gallery Department UGG collection, as well as the Junya Watanabe 1906 loafers. You guys remember when this shoe pretty much broke the internet back in January. These dropped in a limited fashion on the Comme des Garçons website as well as Dover Street Market. They are set to come out on the New Balance websites and some select retailers, I think early in November. Also had the Bricks and Wood 1906 U collab, which I think are still available on a lot of different retail websites if you guys wanted to come up on a pair of those. And in the streetwear scene, we had the Supreme and North Face collab, which used to be like the release, particularly at this time of the year with winter upcoming, but this release pretty much sat, and the only thing that killed this jacket for me was that little graphic on the back. And there was also a big drop from Palace Skateboards here in London, which featured a pretty controversial tracksuit that was inspired by the 90s Brazil football team tracksuits that had been copied by Cortez. And we're going to talk about the story in a little bit more depth momentarily, but that is pretty much the run of what went down this week release-wise. Did you guys pick anything up? Feel free to let me know. Rightio, let's get into the news, and let's start things off by talking about this streetwear beef between Cortez and Palace. It could be legitimate beef, it could be a little bit of fragile ego, it could be genius marketing. Let's go back through the story as it unfolded. Earlier in the week, we saw Palace unveil the modeling shots for the upcoming tracksuit, which, as said before, are inspired by the Brazilian football team and the Nike tracksuits that they used to wear. Upon seeing these images, Clint had taken issue that these guys were copying Cortez, who themselves brought out a Nike and Brazil-inspired tracksuit some time ago. They even traveled to Brazil and did a whole marketing campaign, as well as a whole bunch of photo shoots interacting with the local Brazilian community inside the favelas. And Clint took to his Instagram stories to essentially fire shots at Palace for blatantly copying their copy. The streetwear community were pretty quick to react to this, some people calling out Cortez, who themselves had copied this design from Nike and had no business calling out another brand for doing the exact same thing. But yesterday, Clint doubled down and actually decided to restock the Cortez Nike-inspired Brazil tracksuits for a limited drop on the Cortez website, as well as concocting a special limited edition t-shirt featuring the Palace logo on the back with Cortez on the same logo. So pretty petty move, but what it has done is it has achieved a lot of chatter. A lot of people have been talking about this back and forth between Cortez and Palace. Suffice to say, the Cortez Palace t-shirt sold out very quickly, and the Brazil tracksuit was only too quickly snapped up, and the Palace tracksuit as well sold out pretty quickly. And so was this just a little bit of fragile ego from the likes of Clint and Cortez, or was this just genius marketing the entire time? I'll let you guys decide, and if you want to comment, feel free to sound off down below. There are a few things that you can be sure to expect when it comes to upcoming Jordan releases and release dates. Either the shoes are going to be postponed or indeed cancelled. The quality control is going to be questionable, and some shoes are going to come featuring mold. And that's exactly what's happened to pairs of the upcoming Jordan 4 Orchids, which have been hitting retailers, and some retailers have been sharing the condition of the shoes that they have just taken receipt of. Now, what's been interesting about the reaction to these moldy Jordans is that people seem to be feeling or liking the look of these. If you check out this comment section here, some people are saying that these look better with mold, or they should have come like that. And I think these people are genuinely trolling and people are just jumping on the bandwagon at this point. But I actually have a bit of a hot take with regard to the mold on Jordans. I think it won't be long before we see Mischief or one of these other sneaker disruptor type brands actually take the mold colorway and put it on a shoe and give it to us in some kind of GR fashion. I don't think that would be too far out of left field to expect. What do you guys think about that? You guys might have seen this story doing the rounds this week. It's a report from Atmos in Japan, where on release day, sneakerheads are encouraged to wear a specific shoe in order to qualify for picking up a certain release. And this has stimulated a little bit of debate online and got people going back and forth over whether or not stores that are doing this are doing too much. We actually have something similar here in the UK with a company called Offspring, who, in order to deter reselling and resellers buying up sneakers from their platforms, require you to wear a certain shoe on pickup day. You can also be refused sales of a raffle that you win if you fail to wear a previous win that you've won from them. It does, to a certain extent, curb the reselling, but it is ultra exclusionary and it does become a little bit occultic. And so I guess the question to you guys out there, particularly if you are from the UK or if you've dealt with Offspring before, or companies like Atmos who have all of these rules in place and have all of these conditions that you need to meet in order to just spend your own money on some shoes that you've won legitimately, do you think these types of things are a good idea, or do you think these companies are doing a little bit too much? Feel free to let me know down below. More rumors abound about another Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low set to come out next year. Bro, I don't know what to tell you guys at this point, man. These rumors come, they go. We even get early images of pairs that are supposed to come out and then they get cancelled. I don't know. All we're hearing at the moment is that it's white and red. In fact, this page here decided to show a red swoosh version of the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows, breaking this rumor, featuring an image that does not have a red swoosh on it at all. So I don't know, this mock-up here seems to suggest a pretty plain Jane colorway with a red swoosh. I don't think that's much to go off, but yeah, this is the latest. We've had some good, detailed, updated looks at one of this month's most anticipated sneakers, the Nike Air Max 95 maniere While You Were Sleeping collab. I feel like this shoe has gone through a few different phases, and the reactions at each different phase have kind of ebbed and flowed. When we first saw this sneaker, a lot of people were really excited. Then we saw some updated on-foot images, which had these looking a little bit iffy. Some people weren't feeling them after they saw the leather. And now with these most recent updated pictures, I feel like people are once again gravitating back towards them. But the release is going down on the 25th of October. It looks like we're going to be getting a whole bunch of clobber as well, including these varsity jackets. I mean, I don't want to be too funny here, but a lot of the maniere While You Were Sleeping Jordan 3 collection is still sitting in a lot of places. It feels like this stuff is only going to further saturate the market with more dead maniere products. With respect to the clobber, the shoes themselves, I personally am feeling. In these images, I don't know if they've hit them with like the cold filter or whatever, but compared to the last on-foot images we saw, they were looking quite light, quite vibrant, very brown. These have them looking a little bit more downcast, a little bit more somber, I want to say, if that's the right words. The one thing that people have been complaining about, which I do totally get, is the lace holes. One of the best features of the Air Max 95 is the lace loops, which again were a big feature on shoes like the Jordan 11s. And so even though it's a very small detail with the lace loops, these are intrinsic, these are important, these are part and parcel of the whole Air Max 95 design DNA. And the fact that this sneaker here omits it hasn't sat well with some collectors and fanatics, but I personally like them. I'll be going for these. What about you? Speaking of Air Max 95s, we've also seen a collab upcoming between Central C's brand Cineworld and Nike on the model. If you guys don't know who Central C is, he is a UK rapper that looks 40 and 14 simultaneously. We first saw some promotional content wheel out through JD promoting these sneakers, and we've also seen recently some in-hand looks, as well as this video here by my mate Jack, aka Culture Force, where he not only has the Air Max 95s in hand, but he also has the accompanying Tech Fleece tracksuits. This guy Central C is pretty well known for rocking the Tech Fleeces out. And look, the Air Max 95s are enjoying a little bit of time in the sunshine right now. But I wonder if Nike aren't doing a little bit too much, or I wonder if maybe the release date, being so close to the release dates of the manières, might not be a little bit of overkill in the moment. I think the sneakers are nice though. They're pretty cool. They're very London. They're very stealth and very man-dem, very roadman, but ultimately nothing particularly special. I'd personally rather have the manières. Wu-Tang Clan have revealed a special box for the upcoming Nike Dunk High collab that's set to go down on November the 9th. This is a special pair though, like a special box type pair. I don't think all pairs are going to come with this special packaging, mainly because the box itself is actually signed by RZA, and inside it features a special candle with Staten Island honey scent, and then you also get a Wu-Tang t-shirt. I'm not sure to what extent these are going to be made available to the public. This could be like a raffle type situation on the Wu-Tang website, or this could be a friends and family type gig, but yeah, this packaging is pretty dope. The Lebron 22 is set to drop very soon. November the 1st, I think, is when the new model goes down. And in the recent promotional content surrounding the release of the shoe, it shows the LeBron model crushing different aspects of the Eastern Conference, as you can see from this video here, crushing the Toronto or the LeBronto era, you guys might remember, crushing the Celtics. Real LeBron fans will get all the different references. And I've got to say, the reception or the anticipation, the expectation for the LeBron 22s is not really that high, to be honest. I can remember a time about 10 years ago now when the next LeBron release was something that a lot of people used to look forward to, whether or not you were a hooper or just a sneakerhead. I can remember getting really pumped up for the release of the LeBron 9s, the 10s, the 11s. As soon as it got to the 13, started to fall off a little bit for me. But yeah, these are the next LeBrons coming out. The model is very simple, very low top, very perforated on top. I don't know, these kind of look a little bit sketchery to me, but listen man, 22 years, 22 signature sneakers. The dude's longevity is unmatched. We've got some more Jordan RMs to look forward to in 2025. This time they're going to use the 7 as a base, and a lot of people are calling these more Temu Jordans. It's a good double entendre there. Team Jordan, Temu Jordan, that's pretty cool. Other people are saying these are some more Mexican Jordans, and I don't know how you guys feel about these. I think they actually look better than the normal Jordan 7 Low, which is an abominable model. These don't look too bad, particularly in this colorway, but come on man, like let's just get some new shoes. Like even though this is a new shoe, it's using the DNA, it's using the design language, it's using the entire design from a model that we first saw nearly 40 years ago at this point. So stop giving us new shoes that are basically just old shoes disguised. But we've got a couple of asics collabs to talk about. First and foremost, this Bleach 20th anniversary collab with asics. I'm not sure what Bleach is. I think it must be some kind of Japanese anime show series thing that would make a little bit of sense. But you have two colorways. You have the GT2160 Ichigo and then the Gel NYC Renji. And these are going to be coming out this holiday season, and they celebrate, as said, the 20th anniversary, I think, of the show. And next up, we have a Kith collab with asics on the Gel Kayano 12.1 and the Nimbus 10.1. And as you can see, the kith filter is in full effect. Look at that shadow. Look at that composition. Look at that delightful filter that makes them seem about $40 or $50 more expensive than they should be. I don't know, man. These are clean. They're simple. Very, very tried and tested design language here from Kith. Radio, we have the entire Nike Doernbecher collection for 2024 to preview here. And may I just remind you guys and remind myself before you go passing any kind of scathing judgment or try to trash these shoes, that these were designed by sick children. Just keep that in mind as we cruise through. I need to keep that in mind myself as well. So let's start off with the Doernbecher Air Max DN by Connor Cassing Fernandez. These look pretty nice. These, no, I'm only joking. These are pretty sweet. I mean, the black and golds. Next up, the Air Jordan 6s by Jillian Beagley. These, yeah, I mean, these are pretty fun. These are pretty wild. These are pretty out there. These are pretty colorful. Not for me, but yeah, they're pretty cool. Then we have the Air Max Sunder by Quinn Nims. And yeah, these are a little bit different for sure. She's 10. The Air 180s by Jakai Taylor. These are cool. These, according to the reception that I'm seeing online, seem to be most people's favorite, featuring this lightning storm or whatever. The color blocking is pretty dope as well. Then we have the Sabrina 2s by Sophia Jenkins. These are really cool as well. She's 9. The Air Pegasus 41 by Tima Sviridenko. Apologies for that name. He is 11 years old and has done a good job on these. And yeah, the collection is set to drop this winter, and all the proceeds go to the Doernbecher Hospital, which is a fantastic cause. And 20 years, man, it's crazy to think that the Doernbecher Nike thing has been going down for 20 years now. Real old school sneakerheads know that the Doernbecher collabs and collections are like some of the OG grails from the likes of Nike and Jordan brand. So Y3 and Adidas have created the Kiasu overboots that can be unzipped to reveal the Kiasu mule. So it's a jewel shoe. And bro, these have gotten people talking. I mean, these are an absolute recipe for a couple of rolled ankles. I mean, the dude doing the jump in this video was taking his ankles' lives into his own hands there. Some people have been calling these the casket shoes because, yeah, they look like they are a couple of caskets for sure. But listen, as much as sneakerheads who are generally into like the Jordans and the Dunks and stuff like that are going to hate on these, you can bet that the fashion MFs out there are probably licking their lips. And the Short Kings, to be fair, these look like they would give you a good solid extra 2 or 3 inches. So yeah, not for me. They look like they would be in violation of personal health and safety, but I can understand how some people out there would be right into these. What do you guys think? Right, some Kobe news now. We've had our first looks at the Kobe 9 Elite Christmas that are set to come out mid to late December this year. You guys might remember this shoe when it first came out, man. These used to sit. These weren't particularly popular. If you were like a motorcycle rider, or maybe a WWE wrestler, or maybe even like a boxer, these were quite a popular sneaker. But for your regular, everyday, non-elite hooping type person, these just weren't it, and they're not it now. But I know some people out there might be nostalgic over these models. Don't get me wrong, like the Kobe 9 Low, fire. These, trash. We've also had our first look at the Nike Kobe 5 Year of the Mamba. These are supposed to be coming out the spring of next year. And we also have seen an alternative colorway of the sneaker in recent weeks as well. These are going to be $190. And this first image, bro, these first images, hey, sometimes they do it right. These they have done an absolute disservice to, a little bit like the other colorway. But if we kind of take our impressions from the other colorway that we've seen recently and then just apply this red color blocking to it, yeah, it looks pretty cool. But this is all part of the whole Year of the Snake that we're going to be seeing a lot of, and we have a couple of other sneakers to preview from that celebration coming up. Namely, the Air Force 1 Low Year of the Snake, set to come out in the spring of next year. These look kind of nice, man. Like the materials look pretty good. They look a little bit too busy, to be honest, for my liking, with the little exposed stitching on the rear of the swoosh. You got the extra swoosh on the front. You've got this texturing around the ankle collar, the logo. I mean, they're just doing a little bit too much. They're a little bit too busy for my liking. Also got the Nike Dunk Low, which is going to join the Year of the Snake celebration as well. Same thing, spring next year. And yeah, similar to the Air Force Ones, they're a little bit busy. I mean, I thought we were getting reports that Nike moving forward, we're going to be making less Dunks and less Air Force Ones. I'm not sure if this is a good strategy moving forwards. I personally would have been quite happy to see a different model, for goodness sakes, but yeah, here we are. Now, speaking of the same old shoes that kind of look the same, but they're updated for a new occasion or whatever, we've had our first looks at the Nike SB Dunk Low Red Stardust, set to come out next year. These look like every other GR we've had. In fact, they look like a blend of something like the Trocadero Gardens SBs and maybe 2 or 3 other GR SBs we've had this year. I'm not really feeling the lack of originality from Nike and SB. Even though the quality looks fine, and even though the SB is an absolutely super solid shoe, these are bound for the outlets or are just set to go on sale. Had some first looks at the KD4 Real MVP, set to come out in the spring of next year, so Nike don't seem to be slowing down on the KD4 retro wave, which I'm not mad at. I like the KD4. Colorway looks nice, got a bit of blue, Got a bit of gold in there, got a little bit of white in there, and you've got the custom insoles and stuff. So yeah, I think these look nice. Just when you thought we'd seen the end of DJ Khaled Air Jordan collabs, we have now been met with the mournful news that he is going to be teaming up with Jordan Brand again next year on a couple more colorways of the Air Jordan 5. We have some color codes here, one in an Arctic pink colorway and the other one in a black and racer blue colorway. No early picks or anything like that. We've just got these mock-ups to go off. And I know I'm being a little bit harsh against DJ Khaled. To be fair, his Air Jordan 5s weren't that bad. Not that I ever wanted to grab a pair. But yeah, these mock-ups, they're not filling me with that much confidence, that much joy. I don't know. The Air Jordan 1 Low OG Storm Blue is coming next fall. This is a colorway that I'm liking. If only they would bring these out with the bigger swoosh, I feel like they would be getting a way better reception to the Jordan 1 Low OG at this time. I think what they'll probably do is they'll wait for the hype on Jordan 1 Low OGs to completely fade. You could argue it already has, given the mochas recently sitting and stuff like that. But if they brought out the big swoosh Jordan 1 Low OGs, I feel like they would do a little bit to reinstill some of the interest about these models, because even though it's a small detail, it does go a long way. Now, when you look at this mock-up, you can kind of understand why. Right, so let's finish off today by talking about some of the sneakers you might want to keep an eye out for. First and foremost, you've got that Kith collab on the Asics Gel Nimbus 10.1 and the 12.1 that I was talking to you guys about earlier on in the episode. If you guys go onto your Kith apps now, you can enter into the draw for those two. Pricing is £165 for the Gel Nimbus 10.1 and £175 for the Gel Kayanos. October the 24th, you have the Wales Bonner and the Adidas collab. There's a whole bunch of sneakers, including a couple of takes on the Sambas that are releasing. And you've got a pair of Superstars as well. On the 25th, you've got the KD4 Arm Pearls. The 25th, probably the release of the week, or a lot of people's release of the week, are going to be the Maniere Air Max 95s. Keep an eye on the Maniere website, as well as all the normal retailers for raffle info. And then on the 26th, you've got the Air Jordan 4 Women's Orchid colorway with or without mold. And that is about it. A couple of bangers in there. I'll definitely be going for the Air Max 95s myself. But what about you? You guys got anything in mind? Feel free to let me know down below. And there we go. That is today's sneaker wrap. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor and like the video before you bounce. And I will see you guys on the next video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care for now. And peace.